So the protesters that protested against the protest are now protesting that the protest they had protested is not what they thought they protested. I don't know how many of us got that, but I mean, it's really, really crazy the kind of things we see that happen every day here in this beautiful country of ours. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you back to another wonderful episode of the Kiwi Show. How you guys doing? It's your favorite girl, Jessie Rogers, here again with another very interesting topic, or rather, another very interesting situation for you guys. Okay, so if this is your first time seeing my face, how about you click the like button? Do not forget to subscribe and of course, share to your friends. I know sometimes we get really carried away by my gist and the way I talk and everything, but do not forget to click the like button. Okay. So what am I talking about? What am I going on about protest and protest? I mean, a lot of us are pretty much aware of the, protest that is going to take place on the 1st of August. That is not very far from now. So this protest has sparked a lot of events, a whole lot of events. We've had our politicians, even our president, coming out to try to dissuade us. There's been a lot of things done to try and see if they can cancel the whole idea of the protest. But Nigerians are not giving in. So some time ago, we had some people come out to protest against the protest. Oh, yes. So this protest were made up mostly of women, you understand, market women and, some other elderly people or older people in the society, you get. So we had these women come out to protest against the protest that was going to take place. Many of us really didn't get the idea of the whole say no to protest, because I mean, they're saying say no to protest, but they're still protesting. Okay. So they made this move and a lot of Nigerians, it sparked a lot of craziness. This thing took place in states like Bayelsa, Borno, Abuja. All right. In some of these states, these are the ones that we're sure of. So they were done with these protests and, Nigerians were like, so they've paid you people. How much did they pay you, to sell your country? How much were you paid to sell your rights? People were complaining. A lot of people were bashing them online. A whole lot happened. And we didn't hear anything from them for a while until a few days ago. And they have taken to social media to protest again that they didn't intentionally protest the previous protest they protested against the oncoming protest. So after Nigerians had explained that this whole thing, we're not trying to violently come out or we're not trying to start up an anarchy. We just want the president and the leaders of our country to see that things are not, in case they are not seeing it, they should see that things are becoming so bad. Okay? The nation's youths want to lead a peaceful protest. Nobody has said anything about violence. So I believe that was the angle these people were coming from. Okay? Because I felt like maybe they had their own sincere reasons why they didn't want a protest. I mean, there are good reasons to not even want a protest in this day and age in Nigeria. There are actually good reasons. A few years ago, that was in 2020, we had a protest that ended. It was actually supposed to be a peaceful protest, but it just turned into something else. And it ended the lives of very young persons, very promising young people in the country. A lot of lives were lost. So if somebody is coming out from a place of, concern to say, oh no, I wish this protest don't happen, it's understandable. That was what a lot of people were thinking would have been the issue, would have been the reason why these people would come out to say no to protests. Okay? I mean, so I remember I made the video last time and talked about the fact that even some religious leaders were advising their people not to protest. There's been a lot of, antagonism towards this whole protesting idea. But the highlight of it all is this one that happened recently. Because these women now, they have come out to say that the whole thing wasn't intentional, that they were deceived. Now, this brings us to the question, who deceived you? They are claiming to have been deceived, that the whole idea that they didn't intend to, they didn't intentionally protest against the protest that was going to take place. That they were promised food, money, and some other, compensation. All right. If they participated in some, they must have told you something. So they believe someone told them to do what they're trying to say is that someone told them to do another thing, but they ended up doing another thing, probably because of illiteracy. So they didn't know what they were about to get. That's their claim. They didn't know what they were about to get into and they were used. And then even the compensation that they were promised after being used, it didn't get to them. Now, in as much as some people are of the opinion that, maybe they did it maybe they knew what they were doing. This is not about illiteracy, okay? They knew what they were doing. Some people have the opinion that, maybe it came out of a place of concern. Maybe they don't want violence in Nigeria. Or some people have the opinion that no, they were actually, maybe they gave them small money, they gave them small incentives, or because of that, they knew exactly what they were doing and they decided to sell their rights. Okay, so people have this different opinion. So let's work with this. Let's say truly this women caliber of persons, this category of persons knew exactly what they were getting into, and they had been promised, they had been the real reason why they will be coming out now, because that's the simple truth. This is the real reason why they are coming out. The real reason why they're coming out to like tell the public that, oh no, they were deceived, is because they didn't get that compensation that they were promised. If it's you keep quiet. No, I mean, think about it. We had a deal, all right? I say, if you do this for me, I'm going to give you so and so amount, and you do it. Let's say I ask you to tarnish somebody's image and I'm going to pay you 5 million. You successfully tarnish the person's image wonderfully well, and let's say I had given you prior payments, let's say half of the money. Let's say I've given you like 1.5 million, okay? And then you've done the tarnishing of image, and then I'm supposed to like give you the remaining money, and I vanish into thin air and not give you anything again. And I'm out of reach. You get pissed. You probably go and say everything you've said about that person and now try to paint me as bad. That's just how the world goes. So a lot of people now are of the opinion that the real reason why these women are coming out to say they were deceived was because they didn't get their compensation. I mean, is it not funny? Guys, can't this tell you that illiteracy or no illiteracy, everybody knows what they're doing? A bad person is a bad person, a good person is a good person, school or no school. That's just the simple truth. Because let's examine their claims now in that video. You say you were deceived. How did you not know that you were being bribed? How can you say, oh, I didn't know that I was I was deceived? Somebody met you, probably a political representative, promised you, brought maybe a few cups of rice or something, and, just hold this one for now. We just want you guys to, stay here, hold this, we'll take pictures of you, dadani, So they present something. We all know that there is nothing like free gifts, even in Freetown. There's something we call Greek gifts. There's some things that there's some gifts that when you receive them unprovoked, you have to look at it like this, open one eye and look very well. How can you think that we're in a country that is really messed up? Our political leaders don't even give a shit. They don't give a damn about us. They don't care. And all of a sudden, one good Samaritan appears from nowhere and starts sharing rice to you, or starts making promises, maybe shares a few 500 naira notes, and you think they're angels? It's obviously bribery, duh. There's no level of illiteracy that should make you not be able to spot that. I mean, think about it. Nobody's that dumb, even if you are Down syndrome. I'm telling you, even Down syndrome won't even know what to do with me. So let me remove them from the equation. They won't even know what to do with the 500 naira or the money or whatever. So you have your brain is working well, and you're saying that you didn't know that you were being bribed. I believe that no matter how uneducated you claim to be, there's no way you won't know that you're about to involve yourself in a movement. You didn't go to school, but you see things. You've seen situations come and go in front of you. You are told to hold a placard. They are placards, very big placards that are given to you with bold printings on them. And they have a lot of other persons that have been called to join that movement. Obviously, something is brewing. Even if you don't know what that something is called, every normal human being can use their number 6 to figure it out. Automatically, you know exactly. If I see a group of people moving on the road together, I definitely know something's going on. That doesn't just happen. Something is going on. So now you have been intentionally called. You guys should come together. We're going to give you something. Just do this. You're given a placard. And then you're seeing that it's not just you. There are lots of other persons involved. And you think that something wasn't going down. You were deceived. I mean, that kind of deceit, it has to be very thorough. Because if you didn't want to get yourself involved in something that is not nice, or if you didn't want to get yourself involved in something that is wrong, you would ask questions, no matter how uneducated or illiterate you are. You're going to ask questions, okay? Even if they say, oh, just hold this, and you ask, what is this thing that we are holding? You speak it in your native tongue. If you cannot speak English, you ask questions. What is this thing that we are holding? Hope it's not something that will put us in trouble in the future. But at that moment, they didn't care. That's the simple truth. Because they are hearing promises. We will give you this. We will give you that. And just like that. Huh? Crazy. In as much as illiteracy is a disease and ignorance is bad, poverty has got to be their king. Because at that moment, everybody was thinking about their stomach. And that's a fact. They're all thinking about their stomachs. I mean, you can't really blame them, can you? Now, let's talk about the government, or whoever it is that was involved in, or whoever the political representative it was, because it cannot just be a random person that will try to incite such a movement. It's definitely the government because they are against the protests. Now, why? It's crazy. In a country like ours, people are suffering, all right? And the only time the government will want to reach out to the poor populace, and it's not like they're going to reach out massively. They'll reach out with chicken change, is when they want to use them for their personal agenda that will benefit them alone. And even when they are doing that, they still can't even fulfill their own end of the bargain. It's a two-way thing. If the government or whoever the political representative was that deceived them, they actually did intentionally deceive them and not tell them what they were getting into, like it was true, it was truly a deceit, okay? Would you, look at that. If it was truly a deceit, why would you do something like, why would a government do something like that to its citizens? These are people that you're supposed to be looking out for. They put you in power. They gave you the power that you have. But all you can think of to use them for is your personal agenda, whatever it is. And it's not like you're not even going to compensate them well. Imagine promising compensation and failing. The countless number of times the government has failed us. Even in bribery, even in corruption. They have even failed us in corruption. It's crazy. Now let's look at it from the angle that it wasn't a deceit at all. In fact, it was planned, well planned. These people who made that movement, who did that protest, they agreed with whoever it was that yes, we are going to do it as long as you pay us well. Let's say like it was a mutual agreement and they all knew what they were getting into. Now, these people have fulfilled their own end of the bargain. How can the government not be able to fulfill theirs? Or let me not say the government in general, but whoever it was that incited them. How can they not be able to fulfill their own end of the bargain? And it's not like they are going to give much. Probably maybe 2,000 or 1,000 or 500 even. It's chicken change to them. How could they not be able to part with that at least? It's crazy. And this is the reason why corruption in Africa and in most African countries is the highlight of corruption globally. What am I saying? It's not like there isn't corruption in every other part of the world, but it always seems to be, it always looks like it's only Africans that are corrupt. Because our own is massive, baby. It's massive. I've been mentioning this thing of recent in my videos. The fact that the corruption in other people's country, why it's not very visible, why it's not being talked about much, is because of how smart they are. The corruption is organized. Okay? They pacify the people. They do what they're supposed to do. When they want to steal, they steal with sense. When they want to embezzle funds and misappropriate funds or what, they do it with sense in a way that it won't even be noticed. They cover up their tracks neatly. But in African countries, yeah, right. Nobody will talk because it is so easy to buy over everything that is supposed to stand against it. It is so easy to buy over the entire police force or even the army or whatever the organization or the people that are supposed to be in charge of keeping law and order. It is so easy to buy them over once you have enough money. And that's how things work here in Africa. You just need to have the right amount of money. But in other countries, let's look at the police force of some other countries, all right? In a country like, let me say, UK, I think I mentioned something like this before. If there's I'm not saying there are not corrupt police officials in the UK, but the truth of the matter is you will still see the genuine ones fighting those corrupt ones inside that whole police setting, okay? There's somebody there to cover up the tracks of maybe whoever it is that is in power, that is, doing nasty things. There will be a police official, like covering up for them. There will still be another police official somewhere that is trying to counter that corruption and deal with it. But in most African countries, even if there's a genuine one that is trying to come up and counter, they will shut that one up with the right amount of money. Yes, that's just how it works over here. So you see where I'm coming from. It's not like Nigeria and other African countries are the most corrupt countries in the world, but just look at this little loophole. You couldn't even conduct simple bribery properly. Ordinary bribery. You couldn't even bribe them well. Now the women have come out to trust women. They've come out to expose you. Say you didn't give us the rice and everything that you promised to. It's always rice every time rice. What did rice even do to us? You guys, look at this whole situation. It's crazy. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Honestly, my heart bleeds whenever we see these things happening. Whenever I see these things happening in the country. Whenever situations like this rise. Look, protesting is one of the civil rights of every Nigerian, or of every citizen of any nation it is. You have the right to protest as long as the government you voted into power is not giving you what it's promised you. Because before anybody gets into power, before somebody becomes a president, they have their campaign. In those their campaigns, they tell you what they're going to do for you. That will not make you say, oh, it's like I want this person to be my ruler. So by the time you've, enticed people with all your promises and everything you said you're going to do, you get everything it is you said you were going to do for us when you get into power, and we agreed and said, oh, I think we like this, and then we voted you into power. When you get there, you're no longer doing it. We have a right to protest because that's not what we agreed. That was not the agreement. So I believe we have a right to protest. But what I will not be in support of is anything associated with violence. Violence does not benefit anybody at the end of the day. It's only going to cause a lot of casualties. So, guys, as we step out there, we just need to be careful, okay? Look out for each other and try as much as possible to not stay out late. Once the real deal is over, you go back to your homes and wait for the next one. Hello, everybody. All right, so tell me, what are your thoughts concerning this entire situation? I'd like to see your comments. And of course, until next time, I've been your favorite girl, Jessie Rogers, here on the Kiwi Show. I promise to bring you something much more interesting the next time we will be here. So until then, it's bye-bye. Mwah.